going on, guys? JPS back for another video, and today is a special day. It is the 100th birthday of Sir David Attenborough, and this is an interview with him from, I believe, 7 years ago that I found on YouTube. I wanted to do a reaction video today to celebrate this man because he deserves it. 100 years on this planet is an incredible feat. And then you take into account all of the things that he's done, all of the traveling, the work he has put in. And he's also just a fantastic person from what I've seen. I reacted, I think a year or so ago, to a video of David Attenborough on God, where he spoke about his religious beliefs or lack thereof. He kind of said in an intelligent way that God probably doesn't exist. It was kind of funny seeing him dodge the question a bit, but this guy's pure class. If you watch any nature documentary, there is a very high chance that he is the one narrating it. He has a perfect voice. His voice is just so smooth on the ears. And yeah, I'm excited to get into this interview. I really have not, I don't know much about him or his life. I've, aside from that interview on religion, and then I think I did a different one where he was out in nature, as he always is. It was a short clip. Aside from that, I really know nothing about the guy. So first of all, happy birthday, David Attenborough, if you're watching this. Probably not going to be watching this, but if you are, thank you so much for watching. That would be crazy. I don't think so. But yeah, this guy's a national treasure in Britain, and you guys should be happy to have him as a part of your clan. Let's get it, guys.
I suppose this might be a first for you as well.
What, in the forest?
A talk show in the forest.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I tried to find the perfect compromise. So, sort of wilderness and sort of studio. The wilderness is for you, the studio is for me.
Well, it's a very nice place to be. There's nothing like trees, really. And in the middle of a city, they're even more precious, yeah.
What would you say is your favorite place on earth?
Home, wherever that may be. But home, yes. But is that apart from home? Europe, because I don't enjoy. Here I am in Scandinavia. I should be saying it's wonderful to be cold, but I don't enjoy the cold particularly. I mean, it's bracing to a degree, but I don't enjoy being frozen stiff. I mean, I've been to both the North Pole and the South Pole, and it's a relief to come out from those temperatures, as far as I'm concerned. But equally, I don't like it being boiling hot either. So Europe's pretty good to me.
You're here because the Perfect World Foundation has honored you with a prize,
yes.
Being the conservationist of the year.
Well, that's very flattering.
Yeah, but is that what you identify as a conservationist first and foremost?
I think first and foremost, I'm a television producer. I make television programs. But before I was a television producer, I was a zoologist and a naturalist, and the natural world means a lot to me. And to be able to spend my life combining those two things has been great luck. Of course, when I was studying zoology, there wasn't any television. I mean, people sometimes say to me, "Did you always want to be on television?" I said, "My dear boy or girl, when I was your age, there was no television." And they say, "What? No television?" No.
It was actually your first break was when they wanted to test television, wasn't it? That was when you got your first break in the media.
At the end of the war, I served in the Navy for a couple of years, conscription, and then I tried to work in scientific publishing, which was extremely boring, in science books. And then I tried to join radio, because I'd never seen television. And I didn't get that job either. And then the people in the BBC said, "Why don't you try, we've got this new thing, just starting it, called television. Would you like to try?" And I said, "Well, why not?" I mean, that was in 1952. And I learned how to make programs. And started making programs eventually in the tropics about animals. I really wanted to see a jungle. Jungle, I thought it was really exciting. Quite wrong ideas, of course. I thought there'd be monkeys hanging from every tree and snakes wherever you put your foot. And so. It isn't like that at all, of course. But nonetheless, just seeing the natural world, the richness of the natural world. I mean, Europe's fine, but it's not as rich as the jungle, and that's very exciting.
You've even met animals that no longer exist. I'm thinking about the tortoise called Lonesome George.
Well, he was a subspecies of one particular group of Galapagos tortoises, and he was, it is true, the last survivor. And it was very touching to see this poor old guy.
Damn.
We had thought that the whole species was extinct a long time ago, and then this old tortoise, I mean, very, very old and doddery, you know, and they found him on this one island, which is the one island where that subspecies had evolved, and they brought him back, and they tried to introduce him to females of another closely related species. But poor old George, I don't know whether he was just too old or whether he just thought he's not the same, you know, not like the girls I used to know. And then one day he just died. We don't know how old he was, but he was certainly 100 years or more. Yeah.
Turtles have to be the wisest specimens. Like, they live to such ages. That's so sad, though, that like they're extinct species. Like, that we'll never see them again, I guess. But new ones will emerge. I don't know, will they?
Would you say
Maybe.
after seeing what you've seen through the years, that you are more of an optimist or a pessimist when it comes to what's happening to the climate and to the animals?
Do you know, I don't try and think about that question, because even if I was a pessimist, I would still have to do everything I can possibly do to help this current situation that we're in. I mean, it doesn't help to say...
Okay, so he basically just admitted that he's a pessimist. David Attenborough has a habit of dodging questions, but also answering them in his dodge. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if you're a pessimist. There's optimism in the pessimism, you know? How can you not be a pessimist looking at today's world? Also, great interview questions strung together, like that chain of questions, closely related. He got to this in such a natural way.
Oh, we're all doomed. Well, if you say that, you say, all right, well, forget it, you know, and I can't say that.
You don't have to. Okay.
And I am sure things are going to get worse before they get better. But I believe they can get better. And I believe sufficient of an optimist, I suppose, to think that human beings really can. They know. We know what has to be done, you know. The question is, we've got to convince the world that they've got to do them.
But are we as a species able to work together to go another way?
Well, we never have. Well, that's not quite true. We have certain sections of the world we have done, we have sorted out. I mean, for example, whaling. You know, at the end of the war, 1946-47, it was pretty clear that we were taking so many whales out of the ocean.
That's true.
There were some species that were going to become extinct. And the International Whaling Commission was set up of all countries, including the Scandinavian countries, where in fact, I mean, it's easier for Britain to say these things because we didn't have a big whaling industry really, but you did. But it took 40 years before, in fact, the nations finally said, okay, we will stop whaling with certain exceptions, but by and large. And of course, the results has been spectacular. I mean, the whales are now back in the ocean. All the species are, too. And some of them, which we thought were really very rare indeed, are now in big numbers. We have demonstrated that we can, the nations of the world, we can get together and do things.
But this, I mean, to save the climate, many people will claim that we all have to change our way of life. I mean, not eating whale, that's not a big sacrifice for most people.
No, that's true. But in fact, not making money is quite a big sacrifice for people, because that's what that was about. It wasn't about whether we enjoyed eating.
That's one of the best points, and that's what it's about today. Same thing. But I think also humans, like, we have this internal fight to like, oh, we're we're going to live forever. We're an immortal race. No, we're not. Listen, the earth was on flames before us. It's going to be on flames in flames after us. Okay. Like, people just can't accept that humanity is eventually going to go extinct. Potentially. Also, humans are having less children now. As you guys know, there's a huge population shortage looming. So since we're so overpopulated, maybe that will help. I don't know.
It wasn't about whether we enjoyed eating whale meat. It was making money. That was the problem.
Have you, after all you've seen and the experience that you have you changed your way of life? Do you have an awareness? In
Great
your
questions.
I would think so. I would hope so. The trouble is, when you get old, you're a young chap, see, you don't know. But as you get old, things change. The fact is that I all my life, I've eaten meat until about 5-10 years ago. I still eat meat on occasion, but by and large, I don't eat meat in the way that I did.
Because of your love for animals, or is it?
No, I don't know what it is, but I just don't. The great evil is waste. You know, this world is a hugely rich, productive situation. There's plenty for everybody if we don't waste it. And it's the waste that goes on that is so appalling. I mean, I remember during the war, we heard stories of American, we were all starving. We heard stories of American ordering huge steaks and then actually nibbling the end of it and stubbing their cigarettes out on the render. And that sort of gross wastefulness is the evil. If we stop wasting things, there's plenty for everybody.
Facts.
Some people claim that the problems are exaggerated with the climate and the environment. Some people even say that the climate crisis is a big hoax. The American president is one of them. If I was him, if you sat here with him now, what would you say to him?
I don't know what I could say to President Trump.
You don't have to say anything.
I know what I said and did say to President Obama, and he agreed about the problems that were facing the world. It's a philosophical thing, isn't it? If you're talking about climate change, you've only got to look at the facts. It's very dangerous to look at one set of facts. I mean, if I said, I can take you to a place in the Antarctic where when I first went there the glacier came down to the sea, and now I go back, look what it is now. He would equally well say, well, there's another place on the other side of the Antarctic where it's not so, the reverse has happened. If you only take one example, you're in trouble. But if you look at the whole of the statistics in an intelligent and sophisticated way, the answer is absolutely clear. 10 years ago, I would certainly have said that. I'm now beginning to be able to say, just look at the facts now. Just look at world temperatures now.
I'm going to be honest, guys. You don't even need to look at the facts to talk about climate change. Exist in the world. Walk around. Look around. Look at all the trash. And also the fuel, everything. Like, all this clean fuel stuff, we're still a long ways out. We saw how the Strait of Hormuz impacted the entire world and still impacts the entire world. We're running on oil and gasoline still. So there's a long way to go, and I don't think we're gonna get there, to be honest, fully.
Temperatures now. Just look at the consequences of desertification with thousands of poor people because their lands have become totally unproductive, and now they're mixed up with politics too, but now are crossing the Mediterranean to try to come into Europe.
But you see, then again, they have alternative facts. That's the thing. They have always some climate skeptic.
Yes.
So there will always be a discussion. Isn't that the big...
I think
you can't agree on the basics.
As the process advances, their arguments collapse progressively. The trouble is, if it's going to take so long for you to wait for all the facts, and overwhelming facts for them to convince them, it may then be too late.
Yes.
That's the worry.
You've met more animals than most of us, David, and I wonder, which one did you have the best chemistry with?
I don't have chemistry with animals, really, particularly. I mean, do you mean that I could have go up and pat?
I've seen you quite intimate with the animals. If you see, I remember some pictures of you and some gorillas.
Yes, yes.
And,
but
it
that's
looks like
easy.
you're a part of the family.
Well, that's,
no offense, but I mean, you're so nice.
no, of course. But it's easy to empathise with our closest relations.
Yeah.
Of course. But you can't empathise with a millipede. And actually, it's difficult to empathise with a bird. You may try and persuade yourself that you think the same way as a parrot, or the parrot thinks the same way as you. And there are, as far as parrots are concerned, certain parallels. But by and large, the more remote we are in an evolutionary sense with animals, the less chance you have of actually communicating with them. With mammals, yes, sure. And among the mammals, the primates, the monkeys, and the apes, yeah, even more so.
When I see you with those gorillas, I think about the smell. Because very few people has been so close.
Yes,
with that kind of animal.
Of course.
I just wonder, how did it smell?
They smell rather nice, actually. I quite like the smell of primates, yes. Well, they do. It's a kind of salty smell. Apes smell rather attractively. I mean, it isn't what Dior would call a particularly attractive smell, but if you like gorillas and orangutan particularly, I mean, orangs smell lovely. I mean, they're really very attractive creatures.
Did you ever come home with some exotic diseases or something?
I came home from Indonesia, and having been away for 4 months, and in those days without a contact, you know, we had no international phones and so on, and I had been travelling. It took a long time to fly back from Borneo. And I eventually got home late at night, and I went to bed. My wife was lying alongside me, and I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, pouring sweat. And I thought, this is it. I mean, this is what I've read about. This is malaria, you know. And what do I do? Do I nudge and say, I've got malaria, darling, or what do I do? And I put my hand on the sheet, and it was red hot almost. And I suddenly discovered realised that while I'd been away, my wife had bought electric blankets with dual control, and mine was still on.
So you were quite okay.
Yeah, I was okay.
Just a sheet.
Oh my God, what a great realization there. I would have been scared. You know, also, just something to mention now that we're in the middle of this. He is 93 years old at the time of this interview. How is he so sharp? I know people who are 23 years old. I'm not saying I'm not, but yeah, there's not much up there, you know? Like, this is a great example of just what you should be doing as a human in life. Go out and live it, okay? We don't know how long we're going to live. No one really knows. But you might as well enjoy your time. And I feel like having these experiences, traveling, like, that is the best way to just like go about life. The more and more experiences you have, the more well-rounded you are as a person. And also, for anyone watching of old age, you guys already know this. If you stop moving, then it's like, what's the point? Like, you gotta, even if things, I know as you get older, like, things are tougher, especially for this guy. Like, he's old as hell, really. I mean, it probably hurts to move around it sometimes, so maybe all the time. But to keep the mind fresh, you got to keep moving and engage it with things. And I just hope that no matter what age I live to, like, you know, if I'm older, that I can be like even close to this guy, like, in terms of how sharp he is and fresh and down to earth. Because it's easy to get bogged down in life at that age, because you've just been through so much and you grew up in a different world. But this guy, it feels like he's so in touch with the current world. Like, it's crazy. Damn.
Having the wanderlust that you obviously have,
Wanderlust.
has that made you more restless when you're back home?
I've calmed down a bit. When you're in your 90s, you know, I'm so lucky. You see, what a fantastically lucky time I've had. You know, I've been everywhere I really want to be, except perhaps I would like to have been to the Gobi Desert. I've been on the edges of the Gobi Desert. The BBC, the broadcasting people, television would never send me to the centre of the Gobi because there's no animals there, you see. But they're wonderful fossils, marvellous dinosaur fossils.
Which is your little passion.
I love dinosaurs. Just
not great television, though.
no, it takes time. Yeah, that's not great. And even when you find it, it doesn't do anything spectacular.
Your life has been, I mean, so much traveling, so many farewells. It must have been like a daily life for you to say bye bye. I see you in 4 months.
Well, it was increasingly hard, and particularly when you have a family, saying goodbye to them for 4 months is hard. 4 months was as long as I ever went away, and then they got shorter. And as airlines became more widespread and more reliable, you were able to get back even just quickly for a fortnight, you know, so you could. And so the 4 month trips began to shrink, and they should do 3 months and then 2 months. Now I don't go away for more than about 2 weeks at a time, 2 or 3 weeks at a time, because wherever you go, you can get back fairly quickly.
And also, becoming 92 as you are now, there has been some farewells that is forever for you. Which has been the most difficult for you?
Well, I mean, losing your wife is a traumatic and devastating experience, and which casts a long shadow. And that's the closest loss I've had. Losing your parents and losing my brother is also a great shock.
Richard, the filmmaker.
Yes.
You were traveling when your wife passed away, right?
No.
But
I got back in time.
Yeah.
I got him back in time. She was in hospital. Yeah.
How did that change your life?
Jeez, these questions.
Well, profoundly, of course. On the other hand, the children were, my son and my daughter were both grown up and established in their various careers. I'm not a very domesticated person. I'm not much of a cook. I'm no sort of a cook. Had I... my daughter, who was a head of a primary school, head teacher, eventually, well, not all eventually, quite soon, came to sort me out in terms of cooking and one thing or another, and she now runs the house and so on. So that's a blessing and a godsend for which I'm profoundly grateful, and very, very lucky.
You're not a religious person, but you don't call yourself an atheist either. What do you think happens when we die?
Oh, I think nothing happens, to be truthful.
Thank you.
I'm working on that basis. I'm not an atheist in the sense that I say with confidence and true belief that there is no God. I think very much I once made a film about termites. And, you know, they build these huge hills, and I took a machete and cut the top off so that we could see inside. And there were all these termites, all busy. I suddenly thought, you know, they can have no idea that I am looking at them, or there's anything else other than being a termite, because they can't see apart from anything else. These are blind workers, you know? So they don't know this is happening. And it's not that they're stupid or faithless or something, but they don't have the senses, that particular sense. And I can't help thinking there's a possibility that we don't have a particular sense. Maybe there is somebody out there. Maybe there is a top of up there. People are looking down on us and wondering what we're doing and trying working it out. I don't know. How can I say? Because I have no such senses. So I am resistant to saying pontifically and positively and without question there is no God. I cannot say that.
You recently did a scene with a satellite.
I like the way he puts that, because there's we don't know what's out there. We don't know what's out there, but based off of the information that we have on Earth, I agree that nothing happens after we die. Yeah. Wow. So getting into a lot in this interview, and then he's talking about grief and all this. I'm like, come on, Mr. Interviewer, give David a break, please. It's like, how did losing your wife make you feel? How did that change your life? Like, oh, it made me feel sad. It was traumatic. Like, yo, I'm not even hating on those questions though. They're good questions. Just like, wow, we are getting a lot out of this interview. This is fantastic. This guy is a treasure, literally.
I cannot say that.
You recently did a scene with a satellite. What was the point?
Well, the idea was the notion that these days you can actually, from a satellite, you can actually monitor an elephant. I mean, using a satellite up in the miles up in the sky, there is now technology will enable you to recognize an individual elephant. So
wow.
from a conservation point of view, it's a very valuable tool. And to demonstrate this, we thought we'd set up, or the producer thought he'd set up a proposition, and he rang up, got in touch with a firm that runs the satellites. And can we book a time in which we could to get a satellite shot of our television presenter, that is to say me, in one particular place on the banks of the Zambezi River. And so we could come down from the world and you'd see Africa, and then you'd see the Zambezi, and you'd go further in and you'd see a Land Rover, and then alongside the Land Rover you'd see a person, and you could see it was me. And then you would cut and I would say, well, here I am on the Zambezi River. So that meant that you had to have a particular time to within a second as to when in fact the satellite would be there. You had to book it, it was going to cost a lot of money in order to do this particular shot, and everything would be set up. So at 2 minutes, 31 minutes and 15 seconds, you had to be there. And as whatever time was, the time we approached, the producer was hiding under a bush. And he was coming out and he said, there is 2 minutes to go, and then 1 minute 30 to go, 1 minute to go, getting ready. And that moment, this was in the remotest part, well, a very remote part of Africa on the Zambezi, a Land Rover suddenly came out of the bush. And we had 45 seconds to go. And I said, go away, go away. And a very pretty lady leant out of the window and said, oh, hi. I said, look, I just go. And she said, it's David Attenborough. I said, go. See, whereupon the producer shot out and said, wow. And then she didn't know what happened. And we lost her, never found her again.
Oh.
So she still doesn't know.
Did you get the picture?
Oh, we got the picture all right.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. So when do we get to see it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
David Attenborough, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Wow.
Hope you.
So, okay, Skavlan, Scandinavia. Yo, this guy, original vid will be linked down below. I really enjoyed that. Scandinavian people, will say that, have a very honest approach to just life. Like, there is not really any boundaries, which that's something I really appreciate. And they make fantastic horror movies as well. But guys, wow, where's the shot though? All that money and time, they better have that shot somewhere. And that was how the only hater of Sir David Attenborough was born, because she thought that he was a complete, I was going to say something rude, but I can't even say that about him. She thought he was mean because he told her to get away, and he never got to explain himself. That's hilarious. But yeah, what a great interview, guys. Again, the character of Sir David shines through. Wow. Like, this guy. If we could elect one leader, I would have him He could make all the decisions for. If we just turned Earth into one country, I would let him make all the decisions, honestly. Because I feel like he wouldn't just make decisions for himself. He would appoint people to help him and create a team. Like that is what he actually cares about humanity and stuff. He doesn't have some like, oh, I'm gonna try and sell you this or make money. Like my goal is just to make money in life. Like that's not his philosophy. And you can just see that. Like he's just, oh man, I love this guy. So it's 100 years. I hope he lives longer. Nature says that's probably not going to happen, so it's going to be sad when he passes away, but he has left an absolutely brilliant legacy on this planet. And yeah, even like long after Sir David Attenborough is dead, people are still going to be watching his documentaries and remembering what he was like and what he cared about. So hopefully we can take that as the younger generation and build upon that to fix what the Industrial Revolution did, essentially, and what humans have done. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Happy birthday, Sir David Attenborough, if you're still with us. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.